FedEx full, we command in the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, ain't no need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Join the damn squad, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the word, so shit is shit. K-Dot.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC Sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is K-Dot. This episode, preview of number 1 overall pick versus number 2 overall pick. We'll see about the status of Jayden Daniels. We'll be talking about the matchup as a whole, though. The Chicago Bears at 4-2 come to Northwest Field. Still think it should be called the Fed. Against our Washington Commanders that are 5-2 on the season. So we're going to preview it. We've got the All-22 review from the Panthers game that we're going to quickly go through. And we're going to give you our predictions as we always do and hit the comment mailbag. But before we begin the episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot. Oh, yes.
Please bow your heads. Our grind, which art in DC, Burgundy be thy name. Thy commanders come, thy hustle done. In the Fed as in the streets. Give us this win, our weekly bread. And forgive those who doubt us, as we smite those who don't share this shit. Lead us not into silence, but into victory. For thine is the hustle, the pride, and the grind, forever and ever. Share this shit. In Coach Gibbs' name, we say, hail.
Hail. Hail. Share this shit.
Share it!
Greatly appreciated. Very, very well done. Excellent reading of the scripture there, K-Dot. Why don't we go ahead and begin, though, with a game we played last week. It's the All-22 review with your very own K-Dot.
Yeah, let's see what the fuck I got about this goddamn Panthers game.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
All right, wonderful intro. Smooth transition there, K-Dot. Thoroughly appreciate it. And once again, guys, for those that don't know if this is your first All-22 review, K-Dot's got a ton of screens. We're not talking 50. We're not talking 60. 70 screens to make sure that he's getting absolutely everything. Every single detail. Who's subbing in, who's subbing out, who's looking gassed, who's looking ready to roll. And with that, K-Dot, over to you. What did you see in this game?
I have none of those things. So this All-22, looking through it, it's one of those things where, like, very quickly on you realize you're not going to learn much. So, like, it's just you start. So it's like, all right. So what am I going to search for, right? What am I searching for that I can look at, or what positives can I really take away from the game? Knowing Carolina just wasn't that good. They just weren't that good. It just really looked like we could do whatever it is that we wanted to do at given points of time during the game. So what you can really build off of this. I mean, all right. So I was desperate. So I'm explaining to you that way. But offensively, I guess the big thing in the room as far as looking forward is, will Jayden play? And if he's not going to play, what could we have gleaned from Marcus Mariota's game here that might be able to translate further on? I will give Mariota credit of one thing above all other things. He did not play it safe. If you look at it, sometimes you get a vet that might come in or a backup that comes in, and you got an offensive coordinator that's like, all right, we're going to ease it down, slow it down. Clearly he's not as talented as our top guys, so we got to let's just do a more vanilla style offense here for him. Mm-hmm. They didn't do that. Like, I give Mariota credit. He was pushing the ball down the field. I think that what you could see early on in the game is that because he doesn't have the reps that Jayden does, the timing, the quick release timing stuff didn't feel as though they were going to it all that much. What ended up happening was more slowly, long developing pass plays where you're seeing the receivers really hit and complete their routes fully. I think I even saw the stat that Mariota had like 3.8 seconds or something stupid to throw. Like in the pocket or something this week. It was like nuts. So once again, take it all with a grain of salt because the pass rush from Carolina was pretty much non-existent. And even in certain places where Mariota was like, he's out on the edge, they lacked containment almost at any given point in time. So Mariota could just take advantage. But with the longer developing things, what you saw Mariota was doing was he took his shots when he needed to take his shots. I give Cliff Kingsbury a lot of credit that he's designing a lot of plays in which wide receivers are getting some space. They're getting open. It's easy as a quarterback to kind of look through and decipher, all right, here are my pockets that I can throw the ball into. And then beyond that, another thing that Mariota did, which you could see with him not turning the ball over, is he also was willing to take what the defense gave him. So even if he's got some longer developing routes, if he has something shallow, something short that was right there, he took it. He just took it. No fanfare, no nothing. He just took it. So I think if you're looking at anything from the Mariota aspect is like, look, all those things to me speak of veteran savvy, but he still has it. Like those runs still looked good. He still got some pretty good zip on the football. There's some aspects of Mariota's game where you're just kind of like, you know what? If you can do this, you're not going to be the catalyst to win us games necessarily, but it feels as though if he can play similar to what he played in Carolina or when we played against Carolina, he won't lose them.
That's huge.
He will not lose games. Yeah, of course.
That's what you want from a backup quarterback, right? Is
Exactly.
the ability to be able to come in, not lose you a game, not asking you to go win it for us, but keep us at our level, maybe elevate just a little bit with the veteran experience that a Marcus Mariota has, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's also got the tie-in with Brian Johnson from Philadelphia. So there's some familiarity there, which is great. And so it's good to hear that Mariota's that way. And it seemed like in that game, K-Dot, we could do whatever we wanted, like you said. Was there anything else that you saw from Marcus specifically? And we'll talk about it in the injury report with Jayden not practicing the last 2 days. But is there anything you saw with Marcus specifically that surprised you?
So the thing is, like, I'm kind of throwing away the first few passes. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you're getting loose,
I don't know what,
right?
Nerves. You haven't done anything. Like, I think even Cliff Kingsbury said in his press conference today, those reps that Mariota had were the first reps he had in like 60-something days. So
those were his preseason throws. He just did three of them.
Exactly.
All incomplete was like, all right, I'm good now.
So it's like he got him out of the way. So like, let's throw those out. If I'm looking at anything else as far as him goes, I'd say good anticipation. So while they weren't doing a lot of design timed routes, what he could do with anticipating when Terry was either doing a comeback or curl, knowing he's right there where I need to put it, boom, let's hit it. That's savvy, but also shows that like it's kind of weird how familiar it did seem as though he was with some of the wide receivers on a timing sort of standpoint. He delivered the ball with great anticipation at times. He didn't have to do it all that often because once again, there's no pressure. You can take your time just kind of doing what you needed to do. But in those moments you could see it. So the idea for me is that if he had a week's full of first team reps to work on that even further with a defense that's going to be clearly better than what it is that we face against Carolina, it only works in his benefit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, that makes sense. And then defensively, K-Dot had a
One
question.
more thing offensively.
Sure. Go ahead.
One more thing offensively that I want to give credit to, which is the run game. One thing that Washington did do in this particular game against Carolina because they could was throw a bunch of shit at the wall as far as the run game goes that I have not necessarily seen in previous weeks, at least a diversity of such. So a lot of like GT counter stuff, a lot of motion stuff. They were doing this one wrinkle that was really, really interesting to see if you could see it. They either would move Bates or Ertz in motion across. And then after they got set, Sinnott would go. And off of that, right then and alone, when you usually see the tight ends do that in the way they would run a formation, and they snapping the ball as Sinnott is still in motion, it looks more like a pass play than it does look like as far as going to be a run. That alone keeps the defense. What's happening? So they got to have a moment to
almost
react.
like a reverse play action. That's interesting.
To a certain degree. And then
what a draw would typically be. Yeah.
Off of that is usually a read option play. So you had Mariota could make a decision to either hand it off to Ekeler or McNichols or take it off and run it himself. And they got a lot of good shit coming off of that and a lot of different ways in which they were kind of doing it and then do something different or do that and then do something different. The complexity of the run scheme in this particular game was extremely interesting. And what I also thought was extremely interesting from it is that it wasn't set up in game to then do play action. They rarely went to play action in this game. Compared to what it is we've seen them kind of develop over the weeks with Jayden. We went from early on the season, not a lot of play action, just the read option, RPO stuff. Then we get into all right, they're starting to develop more of the play action and they're doing more and more and more of it. In this game, it was like, we don't even need to do that. Like, we don't need to fool you as far as the play action goes, because we're gonna do what we want to do. But what they're building off that run, if you add the other element to this, which is play action, and you got a defense that might be a little undisciplined, Cliff looks like he's setting up motherfuckers to get caught bad out this bitch. And it's just, I got to stress that, because it's not just Cliff. You got to give Anthony Lynn, and you got to give the dude that everybody questioned, OG Bobby Johnson.
Bobby Johnson, man.
These guys have done some good shit. Once again, Carolina Panthers, take it with a grain of salt, but they did some good shit.
Awesome. Now, going to the defensive side of the ball. Jonathan Allen out for the year. This is your first look at the defense without him there. How did it look on the defensive line? And then, of course, Emmanuel Forbes gets a pick as well. Now, it's thrown right to him, but still, great for him. I was curious about those two elements, the defensive line specifically, because, again, Andy Dalton, 11 of 16, 93 yards, 2 picks. It was his worst outing as a Carolina Panther, So what did you see?
Just watching the film, you could see we outclassed them. More physical, faster, played reckless abandon, like very decisive in what it is we were doing. Defensive line wise, I don't think anybody needs to tell you. I know my player of the game was Dante Fowler. The tape shows that up. Boy is a wrecking ball. And he's actually kind of showing off on the tape the last couple games. It's like he's growing some momentum in what he's doing. They just executed. Like, there was nothing. I didn't see a whole lot of crazy wrinkles. I didn't see a whole lot of crazy disguising what it is they were doing. It just felt as though, from a defensive standpoint, they lined up and said, I dare you. Like, we're better than you. And fucking they took care of it. This, to me, was one of those surefire games where, when they keep talking about what it means to play like a commander, you look at like Mike Sanders still. His tackling, phenomenal in this game. He's all over the place. He's always around the football when he needs to be around the football. None of the guys defensively that I saw were playing necessarily scared. They were all looking to get on somebody. So that's mainly what I saw. It was like Dante Fowler stood out. Mike Sanders still stood out. Luvu and Wagner, come on, they're guys.
They're great.
Like, but you could see that, like, you didn't have a huge Luvu game. You didn't have a huge like, nobody really shown except for Dante Fowler. And the reason being is they played within the confines of the defense, it looks like, and just said, we don't really need to do anything fancy. This is more about consistency, communication, and consistency, and playing with that energy level and that aggression. Everybody's very aggressive. Will that necessarily work against everybody? Can you be that aggressive? No, not necessarily, but it was cool that you could be aggressive, but still within the confines of defense and have success. I just have to keep stressing. And I don't know. I know every time I say it might hurt you a little bit, but Carolina.
No, it's fine.
Bad. Bro.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm working on acceptance in a lot of phases in life right now, and that's one of them, because, man, are they bad. And I'm thankful for it. Again, 40-7, a completely professional performance by our Washington Commanders. Took care of business against a very bad football team. And here we are, again, sitting at 5-2. Any final thoughts, K-Dot, before we move on to the preview?
You don't get to choose who your opponent is. And with this, I would just, like, looking at the All-22, it wasn't necessarily fun, because you watch the All-22 looking for, oh, that's something I haven't seen. Or, oh my God, they're setting up for this or that. Wasn't a lot of that. The most exciting thing was, like I said, the complexity of the run scheme and how well everyone's executing it. That being said, this will be the last time I ever look at this Carolina-Washington game, because, like I said, I honestly don't know what else you could really take away or learn from it.
All right, fair enough. And that was the All-22 review, brought to you by K-Dot. Thank you, as always, as we move on now to the preview. Oh, yeah. I was going nice and slow over there to the preview of the game against the Chicago Bears. Go ahead, K-Dot.
Cool.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided Bitches!
And on to this week we go. Once again, we are hosting the 4-2 Chicago Bears at our place over at Northwest Stadium. And before we begin with the Commanders offense against the Bears defense and then flipping the script, we of course need to set the context for the game as we always do. And this week in particular, it's quite interesting. So we're going to go over to the injury report now. K-Dot, you can pick either one. Perfect. Brandon Coleman, currently in concussion protocol. It sounds like he's still on track in terms of his progress thus far. So I would expect him to play. Jayden's an interesting one. Did not practice on Wednesday. Did not practice on Thursday.
He's not playing.
Supposed to practice today. But we will see. And then Cleveland Farrell, limited with the knee, and then did not practice Thursday. Then a whole bunch of limiteds, and Emmanuel Forbes with the thumb, full participant again. All right, and if we flip the script, we're going to go ahead and see the Chicago Bears, and there's some big names there, specifically Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon, 2 starters for them in their secondary. And then you've got Marcedes Lewis. He's still doing it, K-Dot. It's unbelievable what Marcedes Lewis is doing. Just shout out to him. Shout out to LOEN. He's, we're pretty big fans of him, specifically Murnal and Marcedes Lewis, who he consistently calls out at Thanksgiving football games for us. And then the rest are limited in full. So just want to give a quick shout out there to Marcedes, who is still doing it. But that's going to be the context over there. Again, the 2 big names that you need to look at are Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon. That's a starting safety. That's a starting nickelback. Okay, so that's going to be your slot guy. So that's super important context. And now we're going to go into the Commanders' offense against the Bears' defense. So Kate already said, I was going to ask you, do you think Jayden plays? You're like, he's not playing. Under any circumstances, he's not playing. If he has a full practice today, do you think he does play, or you think no chance?
I think there's no chance. I think what you see, all right, so you guys are watching this, if you're watching this as soon as we came out on Friday. On Thursday, Dan Quinn had his press conference, and what he did was something I love when coaches do, which is that he took the responsibility about whether or not Jayden would play or not, and he put it squarely on his shoulders and his shoulders alone. In my opinion, when it comes to an injury like this, as far as a rib thing, it's more about comfort and like what it is he can do without experiencing a lot of pain or limiting himself. After what we saw Mariota do in Carolina, or I keep saying in Carolina, against Carolina, albeit you take it with a grain of salt, this is why you pay for a backup quarterback. Like, this is literally the situation, right? And there's no reason to trot him out to trot Jayden Daniels out if he's not feeling 100%. And I don't think that it goes from him feeling whatever percentage he was on Thursday and not practicing to feeling whatever it is he feels on Friday. This feels more like gamemanship. Let's call it a game time decision so that they're prepping for Jayden. Because like at the end of the day, while Mariota's skill set is quite like Jayden's in the sense that the offense didn't completely change, you're still going to prepare a little bit differently for Jayden Daniels than you are going to be for Marcus Mariota, just period.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and I'm all for it. I like hearing, I like the gamemanship, at least from that aspect. I don't like it from betting. I don't like it for,
sure. Wait till the end to bet on this one, folks, just to be clear.
Yeah. Oh, spoiler alert. There's no bet of the week this week. So like,
not enough info.
Not enough info. So I mean, I guess in my opinion, at this particular point, I'm hoping that he doesn't play.
Okay. No, that's fair. And my thinking right now is I'm not sure. I think there is a chance he ends up playing. He's young. Maybe it is just precautionary right now where he doesn't need to. He uses VR. Maybe he's still doing that. He's still in the team meetings and all that stuff, right? So, I mean, from that perspective, maybe he is getting reps. It's not the same as being out there, of course, but if he ends up logging a full practice all of a sudden, I think it's unlikely. But if he did, yeah, it's the NFL. I expect that they would also want to see this is good info for them to be able to go, all right, how does he handle it? That being said, we got a long season ahead. We got the Giants after this one. That's a divisional game. That's very, very important for winning the division. So which game is more important between the Chicago Bears and the New York Giants? It's the New York Giants, the one that's happening right after this. So if it's close, maybe he doesn't play. I did expect him to practice, at least in a limited fashion, on Thursday. Didn't. So I'm also fine with Marcus Mariota starting, just to be clear. I know a lot of fans, and from the neutral perspective, they're like, oh, Caleb, Jayden, etc.
It's disappointing.
It's disappointing, but I'm also fine with it because I want him to be 100% going the rest of the way in our season, which is super important. That being said, it's still a big game. So, K-Dot, on this side of the ball, What are you looking for? How are you attacking the Chicago Bears defense? And for the sake of it, let's assume that Marcus Mariota is the starter.
Cool. I mean, to me, it's the same game plan regardless. And I know you guys might have heard me say this before, but just so I'm not alone in it, let me bring up the key advantages so you guys can take a look at what I'm taking a look at. Run the fucking ball. Okay? Run it. Again, run the fucking ball. Rushing outside of tackles, we're the second best, the 19th best. Overall rushing efficiency, we're the second best, they're the 14th best. Design runs, we're the second best, they're the 18th best. Rushing with a light box, we're the first. We're first, the 14th. Intermediate passing, yeah, you can do some of that. But you know why you do it? You do it after you run the fucking football. Run the ball. All right? Run it. That's period. I don't give a fuck if Jayden's back there. I don't care if Joe Theismann's back there. Run the fucking football, okay? This is a team in which, look, very interesting what's happening with the injury report of the defensive backs. Truly interesting, because if there's one thing Chicago is actually pretty fucking good at is pass defense, okay? It's not like they generate a ton of sacks, or anything, but they get a good amount of pressure with the front four. Don't really blitz all that fucking often. They play within the confines of defense. They might bring a fifth guy in the box to try to blitz or do something, but majority of the time, they're completely reliant on, hey, Montez, you want your little revenge game? Feel free. That's what it's going to be, right? And there's another dude in that secondary who's not on the injury report, who's a scary, scary, scary motherfucker, and his name is Jaylon Johnson, okay? This dude is playing like a top 3, if not top 1 cornerback currently right now in the league, okay? Stats-wise, right now he's giving up a 20.8 rating as far as anybody that he's covering. He's got he's given up 0 touchdowns. He has 2 interceptions and 5 pass deflections already this season. He just shuts down your number one
player.
Receiver. Yeah. He eliminates your number one receiver for the most part. He's just playing out of his fucking mind. Yeah. But when it comes to the run defense, they've been giving up 4.6 yards a carry, over 110 yards per game. You got opportunities to do it. Right now, we're sitting with a team in which we know that's something we're capable of doing. And we've got three guys that are capable of doing it at a pretty good clip. Not to mention Mariota, he showed off those legs too. This should be that wonderful smorgasbord of running plays that I saw against Carolina. This is your opportunity to open it the fuck up. Do that. Now, I'm not saying you can't pass. You're going to have to pass. I mean, it's the NFL. But the run has to set up so much else. They're going to, I don't know if they're going to try to do. They're going to sell against the run. You still got to do it. Because another thing that Chicago is able to do, or not able to do, is stop a big run. It happens fairly often on them. They give up a 10-yard run. They give up a 15-yard run. They give up a 30-yard run. Mm-hmm. You got to keep with it because you're going to break one. You can break one if you just stick with it. But also sticking with it, the play action that wasn't introduced in the Carolina game, here's your opportunity. If they were watching the fucking tape of the Carolina game and they're not prepared for it, let's sprinkle some of that in there. I think this is a game, if you're going to have success throwing the football, the one thing they struggle with is guarding tight ends. This is your Ben Sinnott, Zach Ertz, off of play action, quick release, open, in the middle, intermediate, take it. Mariota showed a good job last week, but taking what the defense gave him, this is all we need. You do not need to be Superman, Marcus. No need. Run the ball, take what the defense is giving you.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, in that last game against a tight end, it was Evan Engram, 10 targets, 102 yards for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, beyond that, I think they have done a pretty good job against tight ends, but I do want to, guys, and you're going to hear me say this a lot, there is context, right? So we talked about it with the injury report. We're going to talk about it with the Bears opponents, and this is going to be on both sides of the ball. Just a heads up, we'll be talking about Caleb Williams as well in context there. But when KDOT says 4.6 yards per carry that they're giving up, that's the Tennessee Titans. Okay, so that's Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. All right, they're fine, but again, it's Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. Okay, then Houston, Cam Akers 4.6 yards a pop. Jonathan Taylor ends up going 4.8 yards a pop. Indianapolis, I think of them as like, hey, these guys run the ball. Cool. I don't think of Houston that way. I don't think of Tennessee that way. The LA Rams, in that context of the game, Yes, I do think of them as a running team. 4.9 yards a carry. They were going against Matt Stafford and your boy, Jordan Whittington, who was target number 1 in that game. Okay? Because Cooper Kupp's out and Puka Nakua's out. They know what they need to do. They need to stop the run. They didn't stop it. They ended up winning the game, but they didn't stop what they needed to stop, the Chicago Bears. Carolina Panthers, Chuba Hubbard, 13 carries, 97 yards against them. 7.5 yards a carry. You saw what we did against them. That's not what the Bears did. And then you got the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ernest Johnson, 4.7 yards a pop. Like, when you put all that context together, and then you look at us, we should be able to control this. That's how I feel about it. Play like a commander. I've bought into the culture. I believe we should be able to run the ball on these guys, even if they know they need to stop us. I don't know that they'll be able to. Okay, so that's important. When we look at the pass defense, without Jaquan Brisker, without Kyler Gordon, Trevor Lawrence had a pretty nice day against them in London. So now all of a sudden, as you're identifying the context, they played Anthony Richardson, they played a few others, like Matthew Stafford without his guys, Andy Dalton. I'd be curious if we actually do have some opportunities in the pass game, because it's one thing to have like, oh, you just played some bad defenses. They played some bad offenses too, or at least very hamstrung offenses. So I do see us having the edge over here. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, make the occasional throw. I think you're going to be able to do that, K-Dot. That's how I feel about it. Over to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the injuries are, if they can't, like, of course, if they have 2 starters in the secondary that aren't going to be able to play, it opens up some stuff. I would say that, like, defensively, I think I'm a little higher on them than you are, just in general. Like, even looking at the schedule, looking at everything else. But, and I do understand to a certain, they've played, in my opinion, actually some pretty good run offenses. Some run offenses that I'd be afraid for us to face. But like, but at the end of the day, I don't think any of them are doing it at the clip that we're doing it at.
No, none of them, without a doubt, none of them are doing it at the clip we do it at.
Right. So this is one of these games where it's like, to me, once again, you're going to keep hearing it. And it's the reason you keep hearing it is this is a universal truth from the game of football. This is going to be a time possession, run the fucking ball, keep control of it. The more and more I think about this game, the more and more I'm seeing this game, the more and more I'm like, this one ain't going to be particularly fun for me. I don't think this was going to be a lot of fireworks necessarily, as much as it's going to be a rough and tumble game. I think, Marcus, the key is, like, don't turn the fucking ball over. You guys have done a good job at that this season. You can't let this be the game that happens, right? Because as we transition the offense, there's some concerns, but or the Bears offense, there's some concerns, but the angle of, like, the best defense, the best everything is just run the ball. It's the best way to play complementary football in this sort of standpoint. Tress Way, I wouldn't be surprised if he got a pretty good workout this particular game compared to other games. And I'm good with it. Another thing that Chicago doesn't necessarily do a great job on is, I heard Mina Kimes talk about this, actually, is that they are one of the worst teams in the league as far as run stuffs. And what that means is, like, on 1st and 2nd down, you're never usually playing in or you're never in a 2nd and 12 situation. Hardly ever with them. You're always getting positive yards. And we know when it comes to Cliff Kingsbury, when it comes to what it is we like to do offensively, those 2nd and short, 3rd and short sort of situations is where we can really open shit up. I do think, like you said, that there's an opportunity as far as the passing game. But to me, the key to it is, have you built it up enough where the play action beats their asses, especially if they have some guys that don't necessarily have a lot of playing time in the secondary?
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, on the pass defense, maybe I sold them too short, and I just want to be clear. So the quarterbacks they've played so far: Will Levis, CJ Stroud's legit, Anthony Richardson, Stafford without Kupp and Nakua, Andy Dalton, Trevor Lawrence. Okay, so when I look at that, right, because I always try and apply context to the ranks that I see. Okay, well, how did they get there? I see that I think Marcus can fit in there and be fine, right? Like, they haven't allowed a passer rating over 100. That includes to CJ. So, like, they're good. But in that game, Brisker played. Kyler Gordon played. Like, so there is a bit of a difference there where Trevor Lawrence, for example, who struggled this season, looked nice with those two guys banged up and out. So does it lead to an opportunity for us? I think so. Oh, London. Fair enough. Right.
And
London Lawrence is different.
London. Well, no, on top if anybody outside of this, I do a lot of betting, a lot of procrastinating. Like,
oh, okay, go ahead.
I talk to a lot of people, and the thing was with the Jaguars, the surefire, I would bet my house on bet for the Jaguars was they were going to lose the first game in London. They were going to win the second game in London. The reason being, the first game, they had a ton of travel issues. It was shit when they got there. And as a human being, knowing you got to play a long NFL season, the depression factor that sets in that I need to be in London for 2 fucking weeks starts to set in. You get a little negative. But when you stay there for 2 weeks and you get into the grind and mold and everything else, and you got somebody else that got to fly over and do that shit. I hate the London games. To me are usually chaos, but if you have something scripted just that much, I think you can kind of call these games pretty easily. There's some money to be made if you
sure. And and again, the Chicago Bears were that first opponent for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then it was the Patriots. So they got a couple of rookie quarterbacks over there, and they went 1-1, exactly as K-Dot said. Any final thoughts here before we flip the script?
No.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and flip the script then. So Commanders defense now, who they've been rejuvenated recently. They've been playing well recently against the Chicago Bears offense, a star-studded Chicago Bears offense. Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, hometown kid over here, who's been playing better with each and every game of his, starting to look the part. He's got weapons. He's got DeAndre Swift in the backfield. He's got DJ Moore, who you guys remember last season absolutely torched us. You've got Keenan Allen, and you've got Rome Odunze. And Cole Kmet is a very solid tight end. So you see all that, and you go, man, this is going to be a tough offense to stop. So, K-Dot, how do you go about stopping this offense?
Through prayer? No, I'm joking. You got to make them at least a bit one-dimensional, right? Look, Caleb Williams might be special. Jayden Daniels might be special. I mean, they're both clearly special. They're still rookies. And at the end of the day, it's the same thing I would say against Watt is like, make the rookie beat us. Like, you're going to have to do it. I'll go to the key matchups so you can see kind of what I'm talking about. We got one advantage, deep passing, which actually brings me to a fun fact, which I'll read off real quick in a second. But you can see advantages just through the air are all on the Bears' side. And look, I know the what we saw in that Carolina Panthers game, like, can it translate? Did the defense maybe arrive? Can they get the pressure with the front four with the Dante Fowler? Can they do these things? I don't know. I really don't. But I think that, like, the Caleb Williams psychology factor of it all is something to me that kind of factors into the game that I want to kind of discuss, where I want to kind of take advantage of. The dude is coming back to his hometown, and I think Caleb's got a little bit of that superstar energy in him. That's like, I'm going to show out in front of DC, and especially if Jane's on the game, it's a one-man show now, and I'm going to show the fuck out. And I think sometimes rookie quarterbacks can be a little too overzealous with that. And we all know they're capable of a bad game. But that fun fact, Caleb Williams has attempted a deep pass attempt on 13.6 of his attempts this season, the 4th highest rate in the NFL, but has completed just 5 of those 27 attempts for 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions. Williams' 26.5 passer rating on deep passes this season is the lowest in the NFL. In week 6, Williams attempted a season-low 1 pass beyond 20 air yards, resulting in his lone interception of the day. Make that fucker one-dimensional. They like doing it. Okay. Like, fine. Like, if Caleb wants to fucking drop back and he wants to fucking throw it, cool. Coolio. Pressures on the defensive backs. Pressures on the front four. You got to play discipline. I need to see the communication at all-time fucking high. This is not the game that DeAndre Swift's allowed to do whatever the fuck it is he wants to do. You can't, no, absolutely not, okay? If they beat us with DJ Moore and a Keenan Allen who missed a few games or at least a couple games and he's still building that chemistry with Caleb, so they're trying to work on shit or whatever, I can eat that. I can eat a little bit of that. Because offensively, if you've done a really good job of running the fucking football, he ain't going to have that many opportunities. And as we said, when he throws the ball deep, that's your best opportunity to get a pickle. You can take that shit down. Emmanuel Force, you want 2 in a row, buddy? it might be available for you this week. Honest to God, like that's where it comes down to. It sounds scary. They're good at deep. They like to do deep passes. We're not necessarily good at it, but we got to try something. I think that's your best opportunity to get some shit in.
Okay, so we're going to pretty heavily contrast over here.
Okay.
So where I'm at is K-Dot, the way the defense has been playing recently, and we've talked about it. Is it real? Is it not? Is it a phase? Is it the culture? What's going on? And I said earlier, I buy into the culture, and I do think that there is a shift, and I think at home we tend to play better. The numbers show that out so far. It's early, okay? And so there's context there as well. It's very early. We got to play Deshaun Watson at home. We got to play Andy Dalton at home. We got to play Daniel Jones at home. I get all that. And so that's important context to note. I will say this. We have played Baker Mayfield with all his weapons available. We have played Lamar Jackson. We have played Kyler Murray. We did a good job against Kyler Murray on the road. And, of course, we played Joe Burrow, who absolutely torched the living shit out of us, recognized. We're playing a rookie quarterback at home, and he has only played 2 road games so far. In those 2 road games, he's thrown a couple picks in each of them. Okay, so he needs to first prove that he is able to handle the road environment. This is also an emotionally charged environment, like you had mentioned. He's coming home. He's going to want to show out. So does that lead to an extra throw deep? I think it does. I think he probably tries one, and that should be a pick, honestly. Should be at least an opportunity for a pick. Then I see that he's been sacked 20 times, which is the 4th most in the NFL. That's just on total count. They played one less game. They're 30th in sacks per game allowed. Okay, so he holds on to the ball a little bit extra. When he goes out of pocket, which is his favorite thing to do, it's what made him so popular at USC, he's worse than when he's in the pocket. So give him that. Get him out of the pocket if you can. DeAndre Swift, wildly inconsistent. This game depends on him. If he's able to run on us, I think the Bears are very, very comfortable. If he's not, K-Dot, I think they're in for a long day. Here's some more context. The Houston Texans gave up 101.2 passer rating to Anthony Richardson. There's a week 1 thing. You could throw it out if you'd like to. That's fine. The very next week against Caleb, 51. Then the Indianapolis Colts ranked 29th at the time with a 120.7 passer rating allowed to C.J. Stroud and Malik Willis. Malik Willis, structure, system, sort of like us, depending on what you think of Cliff. Mm-hmm. Caleb Williams rocks a 80.8. LA Rams, 31st, 127.3 allowed to Kyler, Goff, and Purdy. I think those are awesome quarterbacks, just to be clear. Caleb goes 106.6. That's good. Then against Carolina, 28th, allowing a 107.8. He goes 126.2. Once again, that's good. And then Jacksonville, 111.7, 124.7 in their last 3 games entering that game, 124.4. What I'm saying is that he did what he was expected to do in those games, especially the final 3. But he's still young, and I do think that there's opportunity to be able to play well against him in this spot. So is he talented? Yes. Could he have a great game? Yes. Do I think he will? No. I'm just being totally honest. I think we're going to end up being able to game plan well against him. And I think, again, if we get him out of pocket, which is allowing him to get in his comfort zone, it's an illusion right now. It's not there yet for him. I think we can actually have a very nice day defensively. And with that ball control on the other side, I think we're in for a surprisingly comfortable day. So that's where I'm at on this side of the ball. It really, for me, sell out on the run. Make him beat you. This may not work a year from now, just to be clear. But for right now, it can work. Again, 0-2 on the road so far. Doesn't look comfortable on the road so far. It's a road game. It's a home return for him. This is an interesting spot for the kid.
Well, when you open your salvo just now, when you said that there would be contrast, it feels as though we're kind of end up in the same place as far as you got an opportunity to stop the run. If let Caleb try to beat you. I think the contrast comes in with what I might think about Chicago compared to what you might think about Chicago. It feels as though you're a lot lower on these guys than I might be as far as like
based purely on how they played. And you said it, you can only play who's on your schedule, but I don't know that they're prepped enough for playing what we've built so far. That's where I'm at.
I understand.
Yeah.
And look, they haven't played any of the division opponents yet, if I'm not mistaken. And we know NFC North right now, best division fucking football, but they haven't been tested as far as that goes yet.
They've played the 4 AFC South teams, all 4 of them already. They've played the LA Rams and they played the Carolina Panthers. That's their schedule.
Right. I think that the tail of their season is extremely similar to the tail of our season, I think. And we're kind of doing the same things, taking care of the teams you're supposed to take care of, right? Mm-hmm. I still have a lot less faith in our pass defense, being that in 2 of the last 3 weeks, we faced a Carolina Panthers and a Cleveland Browns team.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair.
Arguably 2 of some of the worst offenses in the decade. Okay. Like, I mean, really, like, what are we putting up against? Like
no,
that
that's
Cleveland
fair.
Browns, so I'm looking at that. I'm like, all right, maybe you beat teams handily like that, and it sparks something, right? We know Dan Quinn's a capable coach. We know Joe Witt's a capable coach, and we like some of the guys we have on defense, no doubt. They've shown out that, like, all right, look, when we really try to sell out against something, we can usually stop it, right? But what has typically been the case for Washington over this season, even if we've prevented teams from scoring, between the 20s, most teams outside of those two have been able to kind of do whatever the fuck it is they want to do against us. And one thing that's actually kind of scary for us is, I don't know if you know about Chicago's red zone abilities, which they are top 3 in the league as far as scoring in the red zone.
Been good there. Yeah.
So my thing is, like, if we see a Washington team that's been like the one we've seen defensively majority of this season, and we're letting shit go between the 20s. Against New York, we were able to clam them down, right, a bit. We were able to get things stopped. Even look against Cleveland, when they first started doing that drive, all right, put the brakes on, right? Or you get an interception against Carolina. Like, you do what you can to, like, stop them. Chicago's not been one of those teams when they get into the red zone that they're not taking full advantage of what the fuck it is that's going on. So I just think from a matchup standpoint, you can't necessarily do the bend but don't break defense and expect not to allow that they're going to score points more than other teams do.
And where I'm coming from is that I don't think we're going to need to bend. So I think that there will be a couple moments where that we actually do break, just to be clear. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's going to be allow whatever in the 20s, not in this matchup. I think in other matchups, you're going to see that. I don't think this is one of them. I expect Joe Witt and the boys to be aggressive this time. Again, in the last few weeks, I didn't even say this, so forget again, but 4th in pressure in the last 3 weeks. That's us on defense. Again, there's context, but that includes Lamar. So when you look at that and you look at the confidence in which they're playing, and you're at home, I think you're going to be able to do something over here.
No,
we'll see.
The communication and discipline have to be at the clip that it's the best been this season, because the other aspect of if you want to get aggressive, you want to start bringing guys after Caleb Williams, and you want to do that, his favorite target is a guy named Cole Kmet. And Cole Kmet's not going to be running a lot of deep things down the field. He's going to be right there as a nice little release valve, 5-6 yards past the line of scrimmage, maybe 10 yards tops past the line of scrimmage. And that motherfucker, if you want to have a day in which that blitz doesn't quite get there and Caleb Williams either does some of his magic bullshit or is able to dunk off to not just a Cole Kmet, but also DeAndre Swift, also a DJ Moore that loves running those fucking crossing routes, right? Like, It's one of those games where, like, yo, I love the idea. Once again, the game plan, me and you are lockstep. Force Caleb to do some shit. But if you don't play discipline, if you're not communicating at your highest fucking level, they are going to eat you the fuck alive. DJ Moore's a dog.
We know that.
Dog.
230 yards last season, 3 touchdowns. We know.
DeAndre Swift will chop you the fuck up. Like, he will chop you up. He's going to run over you.
Inconsistent. It does, not for me, depend on which one shows up.
Not tonight. Look, Chuba Hubbard was going on a bit of a roll, and he ran into us. DeAndre Swift's been on a bit of a roll. 70-plus yards in the last few games in a tutty. He's been on the roll. Maybe the stop comes against us. But like I said, I don't want this to be a slow, methodical, bullshit sort thing when it comes to what we're doing defensively. I need this to be, you can't run on us. On first down, if you try to run the fucking football, you're looking at 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8 tops. Then on second down, if you decide you want to run the fucking football again, okay, bitch, you ain't getting another fucking yard. And then in those 3rd and long situations, all right, Caleb, beat us.
Yeah.
Beat us.
And I think he will have a couple special plays. He's got it in him. Like, I think he will. I just think that we're going to do a pretty good job against him. So why don't we go ahead and get to the predictions over here? And so once again, the Bears are 4-2 on the season. Commanders 5-2 on the season. As of right now, it looks like the books believe that Jayden's not going to play, just as K-Dot was mentioning. And the Bears are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under is 43.5. And so, K-Dot, as always, I ask you for a score. I ask you for a winner. And I ask you for a player of the game.
All week long, I've been thinking that I'm going to pick the Bears to win this game. I just think if I'm looking at all things being equal, if I'm looking at the units and everything that kind of play out without a Jayden Daniels playing, because I'm taking that in consideration, and I know you've put it into context, but I still like that Chicago defense, and especially their pass defense majorly. Now, if they've got some injuries there, it leaves a bit of an opening. I don't find there to be a huge chasm between these teams. And I actually think Marcus Mariota starting and not Jayden Daniels starting, I'm never going to tell you under any circumstance that Jayden Daniels not playing for us does not put us in a better position to him not playing for us, period. He's that good. But I think forcing the issue of running the football in this particular matchup is a helpful one. And I think that to me is the way that we win this game. I don't think it'll be cute. I really don't think it'll be nice. I think it'll be one of those grounding games. I think everybody after this one's going to be like, God damn it, why didn't Jayden Daniels play? So, final score. 23-20 Commanders. I don't feel super confident about it, but that's what I'm rolling.
Okay. 23-20 Commanders. You got a player of the game?
Brian Robinson. I
am going Commanders 22, Bears 17. I've got us winning this game. I'm calling it for the culture because I think what's been built so far, and when you see the play like a commander mindset and everyone buying in, I think this is the kind of game you win where your quarterback is out and you have an identity. Nothing changed when Mariota came in. People talked about it. You're able to run the exact same thing. Defensively, Dante Fowler starts springing up, for example. Emmanuel Forbes gets an interception. Confidence is rising across the board. You guys know me. I love confidence. It is everything. I feel like the defense is feeling it right now, and they're at home. And Caleb, once again, if he wins, this will be his first road win. I know they're 4-2. They've had a lot of home games. They got the London game, which was technically a home game. If you want to call it a road game, that's fine. I don't fault you for that. But he has to do it. And I don't know that it happens in an emotionally charged environment for him specifically this week. So 22-17 Commanders. My player of the game, Austin Ekeler. If you are a running back out of the backfield and you catch passes, you can do well against the Chicago Bears defense. They give it up to those types of players. So Austin Ekeler is my player of the game. If Jayden does play, 31-16 Commanders is what I've got in that one. And so I'm feeling good about our squad and our organization as a whole, K-Dot. And that's where a lot of this prediction comes from, is me feeling good about the culture that's being built here.
If Jayden plays, give us another touchdown, but I also give them another touchdown. So
okay, just to keep up. Okay, got it. Yeah, still a 3-point game. 30-27.
I'm like, to me, this is square. I think that like the line right now is sitting at what? I think it opened
2.5.
1.5. All right, it's 2.5.
Yeah.
We're clearly underdogs. The money line they gave us up plus 190. So like,
I can check that's that. Plus 120 depending on where you are. But yeah,
this is an upset if we win this game. I want everybody to squarely know. In my opinion, I think for you, this feels like one of these ones. It might be kind of in that category of should win, maybe a little harder than most, but like. Should win as far as like how do you feel about it? Yeah,
I think we should absolutely win this game. Again, I told you I was doing this behind the curtain for a moment, a huge numerical deep dive yesterday. Having gone through it, I feel confident in us, and I think we really should win this game. I'd be surprised if we lost.
Yeah, okay. I'm not. I don't share that confidence.
That's fine. Yeah, listen. I've been wrong twice already. I could be wrong. So.
And I tell you, like even watching it, what did it for me? Like I said, I wanted to pick Chicago this week. What did it for me was honestly looking at Mariota's game last week and seeing how surefire he was and how he wasn't making any of the fucking mistakes. He wasn't being a try hard like he was in Atlanta at times. And yeah, I think that if we bail him out as far as that run game goes, and we play the solid football that way, and maybe you get your Brian Robinson or Austin Ekeler to break a few. If that ends up being the case early on, and then they force Caleb Williams to throw the ball constantly, Yeah, you can get into a position where that
The
could be
big
the
thing
case.
for me, K-Dot, is I think he's going to turn it over. Again, so like I think he's going to have a couple turnovers in this game, and that'll end up being the difference. And so it may be a bit of a slog, but I still fully expect to win. So the turnovers are being factored in.
I kind of want to. I'm all over the place on this one, man.
No, I mean, listen, I get it. And if I hadn't done the deep numerical, like, again, I think it'd be different. But that's just how I feel.
Like, it's end of the day, as far as this like they've proven to me everything I needed them to prove so far. Here's your next test. Prove to me, as far as from a defensive standpoint, you could just stop some motherfuckers and stop them without them being Panthers and Browns.
That is fair. Any final thoughts before we move on to the comment mailbag here, sir?
Nah, I think we're good.
All right, over to you, Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, as always, for the intro, Nikki. We begin with Junior Nemhard, 2873, shout out. Our Commanders turned those Panthers into kittens. Hashtag HTTR, hashtag HTTC, hashtag raise hail. Once again, the score was 40-7. The context of the video was the recap of the victory against the Carolina Panthers. Smoked them. K-Dot, your reaction. Go ahead. You can talk to me about my side piece team here.
They just weren't good.
They
just weren't good. They didn't look as offensively, they weren't as dysfunctional as Cleveland, but overall, you could see early on in this game, they just knew, it's not him.
Yeah. I mean, well, very early on, it was like, they're moving the ball. Like we talked about the first 3-4 plays. You're like, seemingly it will. Okay, baby, it's going to be a tricky game. The pick six happens. It looks like a totally different game from that point forward.
No, you can continue when Mariota comes in and he doesn't look great to start out. You're still kind of like, even when you're looking at just from an energy standpoint, it didn't feel like Carolina what they should have done just from an energy standpoint. You see a Jayden Daniels goes down, you got to know that's demoralizing for the other team, at least in some sort of capacity. So let's get it going. Let's get the juices flowing, right? I mean, nobody's hoping for anybody to get hurt, but it didn't feel like they took advantage of that aspect of it. And Washington was the one who almost got into this, let's do it for Jayden sort of shit. And it was like, yeah.
We go over to Mr. Payne, 134, shout out. Good performance all around by the Commanders. Marcus Mariota looked good. B-Rob is definitely a stud running back. Defense played well. It was great, K-Dot, having Brian Robinson back in the lineup after he missed the game against the Baltimore Ravens, scores a touchdown again. I mean, the guy is so important to what we do. I know he's not the household name like your Derrick Henry, your Saquon, etc., of that tier and caliber, but man, is he important to what we do.
No doubt. The other thing that I think that his running style gives your team an identity. And that to me is like, you look through the history of this team, you think about like the days of John Riggins, and he was clearly like the identity of the team, at least to some degree, even when they went away from him, when they needed to go on that Super Bowl run, let's load up the fucking diesel, right? Yeah. Even unsung heroes, Doug Williams, Timmy Smith. So there's like, there are guys, the Clinton Portishees and everything. I love running backs being the guy. I understand Jayden Williams exists, so it'll never be the case. But in my heart, Brian Robinson, those tough fucking runs, that's the soul. That's the soul of the team.
And shout out Jeremy McNichols as well. I know we talk about Ekeler, we talk about B-Rob a whole lot, but he's been coming on recently, and he's looked good. Like, so it's nice to be able to have all those options in the run game. And like Mr. Payne 134 said, defense played well too. So shout out the defense. Again, only allowing 7 points. They actually seemed a little upset about it. They wanted the shutout. We go over to House of Minstry. Shout out. I used to hate when Ron Rivera, when he was coach, would tell us every game was going to be tough. And every game was tough because he spoke it in manifestation, is the comment over there. Just there's a little gripe with Ron Rivera, probably from last season and seasons past. It's nice to have the new crew over here, K-Dot, with Dan Quinn and the boys.
I mean, I haven't heard every word that Dan Quinn has said, so I don't know if he said that the games are going to be tough. But the last thing I want is a coach to go out there and say a game's going to be easy. So I have a lot of criticism for Ron Rivera. That one's not necessarily one of them, even though I understand. I understand. I get the sentiment. I agree with you mostly, but not really.
Yeah. We go over to Mr. Payne, 134, shout out. I was referring to the more recent past, Snyder era, yacht bitch era, if you will, not the Jack Kent Cook era. I'm trying to. Oh, okay. And so this was, again, the previous comment Mr. Payne made was F the past big win. Okay. And so that was one of the comments he had. And I'm trying to see if there was another one as well for context, but no, that's all I got. K-Dot, reaction to that.
Yeah, of course. Like, no way. Even during the even the recent past, I don't damn the Joe Gibbs 2.0 era. You ain't gonna hear me do that. So like, yeah, just we've moved on. We're moving on. No more. You know what? Everyone this week with the Emmanuel Forbes, the only guy left that Ron Rivera drafted in the first round. I don't care.
Voice. We're gonna explore that voice later. We go over to Coach Lombard. Shout out.
Bring back the team name, Redskins.
Congrats on the win, Santo. Coaches is very much a Philly thing. K-Dot will tell you that. We are 2-0 since the bye, and I love the buzz cut on Sirianni. If you had to slice a credit pie, how much would you give to Cliff, and how much would you give to Jayden for the season? Seriously impressed by Cliff's backfield sets. That is the comment. K-Dot, that's a good question. If you had to slice a credit pie, how much would you give to Cliff and how much would you give to Jayden for the season?
I'm splitting it right down the middle.
50s.
And the reason I'm splitting it right down the middle is like I get the question. I actually think it's a good thought experiment, but but for the purposes of my fandom and my love and desire and want for everything to go well here, and my hope that maybe somebody on the team might even watch this one day. No, it's a team effort. Everyone's putting in maximum fucking effort.
Okay,
and this is what it is. Play like a commander. Okay, do your job
like a commander. Do your job. I'll lean a little bit. I'll lean 55 Jayden, 45 Cliff. Cliff is still doing a magnificent job when Marcus Mariota comes in for it to be that seamless, that smooth, etc. Yeah,
the Panthers.
The 3rd and 7 touchdown throw to Terry on Monday night. That's the extra 5 I'm giving to Jayden. That's the special sauce we talked about. So 55 Jayden, 45 Cliff is my answer to the question there, Coach. Go ahead, Kiddo.
This is going to sound so stupid. I wonder what the final score is if Jayden finishes the game. That being said, I will give credit to Cliff Kingsbury in one thing. Like I told you, the most time I spent doing the All-22 was giving him credit as far as that run scheme, right? I don't know if we learn as much or try as much. I think, to me, this Carolina game felt more like practice reps than it did anything
That's
else.
what it sounded like. It sounded like we were trying new shit, too, in the run game.
So you find a silver lining. No one's grateful that Jayden got hurt. Terrifying, scary. Please get better.
I want him to play this game. We all want him to play this game if he's healthy. If he's healthy.
Once again, I'm out. I'm out on that. To me,
even if he's healthy,
I don't think he's healthy enough. If he's just
no, that's fine. But if he's healthy, you want him to play.
If he gives me a full week of practice, yeah, let's go.
What if he's 100% on Saturday?
I don't think that's a possibility. He's 100% on Saturday.
Okay, fair enough.
I think it's an impossibility that he's 100%. I think that he can feel as though he's probably 85, 90%, and that's enough. Maybe that's the threshold for Dan Quinn. Look, I understand not wanting to not to wrap the quarterback a bubble wrap. I'm that guy. I don't like starting rookies. So at the end of the day, when it comes to like, hey, you're not 100%, I don't want you out there. I'm good with it because my expectation for this season doesn't fucking matter.
Practice today is going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, I get you that.
I don't think it's as he's definitely not playing as some people are saying, but we'll see. We go over to Clarence Thomas. Goes, JD5 thinks he's JD55. I'm trying to think about JD55 for a moment. Oh, no. Jamin Davis got cut, by the way. We never mentioned that real quick. But what'd you say?
We're not looking at the past.
I'm wishing him all the best because I like Jamin. It just didn't work out here. So there's
nobody that the team has cut period that I haven't liked. The last commander that I dislike is who? I didn't like Albert Hainsworth.
Oh,
I didn't like Laron Landry.
Dude.
Not a Laron Landry. Never was a Laron Landry guy.
Well, there was that one, rest in peace, Sean Taylor. The season he passed away, we played single high safety. It worked for a few games.
I know, yeah, having him down in the box, but roid rage is a thing.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
I didn't like. Yeah, did you see that fucking hit? Did I just lay it out when that?
Oh, and then the flag comes out.
First down. I don't give a fuck if I gave him the first down. You see that tackle? You see that tackle? I'm like, dog. Do you see? Like, they got a first down. It was 30.
The field is yellow. There's nothing but flags everywhere.
What are you doing? No, he's celebrating every fucking thing, regardless of game situation or context. Used to annoy the living shit out of me. Just annoying. His brother was so much a better player.
Brother?
DeJuan Landry. Of the Baltimore Ravens fan, defensive back.
No, now I'm remembering. It's been a while, though. I hadn't remembered DeJuan Landry there. We go over to Big Papa Grizzly. Shout out with the final comment. This was the epitome of a total team win. The kind of win that coaches dream about. The kind of win that ends up in a movie about a one-of-a-kind rookie that takes the league by storm. Perhaps produced by NFL Films. Wink, wink. I'm not worried about Jayden's ribs. Okay, this is Big Papa 2 days ago saying, not worried about the ribs. Coaching staff did the right thing by stopping him from running back out on that field when he tried. Like we've seen all season, he's going to learn from this and figure out how to not let it happen again. Cliff will adjust as well. As of right now, this is 2 days ago from Big Papa Grizzly. 3 days ago now that you're watching this. As of right now, I fully expect him to be playing on Sunday against Caleb and the Bears. We will see how it goes throughout the week. That's the comment over there from Big Papa Grizzly. K. Your reaction to it?
Well, we already talked about where my feeling is as far
quite
as
a bit.
I would agree as far as the total team win aspect, all of it. Like, yeah, that was what you were supposed to do. In all facets of the game, we outclassed them. Good job. I would say that I listened to Cliff Kingsbury talk on Thursday about Jayden, and some reporter asked, like, what do you need to do to kind of protect him from himself, I guess, to some degree. And Cliff, his answer was basically, I don't know. I haven't figured that one out.
We were talking about it. Remember that? It's like, how do you tell? This was a few weeks ago. This is just before the Giants game where you go, well, how would you tell Jayden, who is the best athlete on the field, to slide, to stay in the pocket more, stuff like that? And the answer was he gets smacked in the ribs. And from that point forward, he went on this insane trajectory. And then got, yeah, you know, so like,
I'm hopeful that's the lesson. But I know in Chicago, you know what they do? Do you know what they did? Brought in an actual fucking slip and slide. I like hearing that.
Saw it on Hard Knocks.
I like that. I like that shit. Doing training or putting the fucking virtual reality in. Hey, there's an out of bound. You see that line?
What if that's the VR right now?
Run to the white.
This is the one time we're going to tell you run to the white. Be like A-Train. Run straight to the white. You see it, you take it.
Dan Quinn even said, he's like, yeah, I know. I think he thought he was just going to outrun everybody. It's like, yeah, we see that, Dan.
Do you know what's interesting? So, go ahead.
No, I think you were right as if he didn't look back. But I also think the vision on that run, if he could do it over again, I think he'd do it differently.
Yeah, I think he wouldn't look back. I literally think that's the only thing he would
take. The first cut right was the right cut. I don't think he made the first cut. I don't think he followed the right hole.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I wanted to say one thing, which is that actually this is after the pod. Let's quickly transition over to that. This was the show.
No,
this was District Divided.
No.
Did we miss one from
Jess Santo has commented.
I need to pull this up. Jess, I'm so sorry. Now I'm pulling up our last video. Please read it. And Jess, I'm sorry.
Sup, homies?
Oh,
the puss was definitely pounded last Sunday. The defense is starting to get some cohesion and consistency. I had a lot of doubts about Mariota. He showed up for us, though. I don't think he would have had as good a performance against a better defense. As far as Daniels, that's a bone bruise. Quinn has done a lot of BNMing around the injury to reporters. He is. I'm sorry, that caught him. Using Bieniemy as a verb is nice.
I mean, Jess is brilliant.
He has not once directly stated what the injury is and is using it as leverage against the Bears. I have a ton of faith that he will play this Sunday. As far as the Bears go, their fans are talking a ton of shit to Commanders podcasters. Fuck that noise. I'm here for all that smoke. I'm going to get my troll on. The Bears do have a good defense, but our ground game will keep them off balance. Our defense will have to continue developing their pass rush to help the DBs. I think it'll be a close one. Commanders 31, Bears 24. Share that shit.
Share this shit. Greatly appreciate it. Now, what I'm doing, Jess, I got to honestly just like pull this up for you because sort by newest first. There it is. God damn it. Okay. So here's the deal. Oh,
yeah. Very, very, very just in time, Jess. Just in time.
Jess, well done. And to put it fully out there, now you know when we're recording. That was 20 minutes ago. And I think that's probably the reason why I did show. I feel a lot better now. Okay, cool. That makes me feel a lot better.
What I'm doing now is like if you get to the end and I have not heard Jess's name, I pull it up. Yeah. So like I pull it up in real time. So it's just like, oh shit, 20 minutes ago. So while I'm dumbass, we talk about All-22, Jess was comment.
That's the reason we talk about the All-22 is to buy time.
There you
to
go.
Make sure Jess gets his comment. And thank you all for the comments. This was the show. This was District Divided, DC Sports Podcast, more specifically a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode, which was the All-22 review of the Carolina Panthers game, brought to you by KDOT, of course, and then the preview and prediction for the Chicago Bears game this coming Sunday. 4:25 p.m. kickoff, CBS again, I want to say. That is KDOT. Yeah, so many CBS games. If you enjoyed the episode, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, subscribe to the Gibbs Bible as well. It's incredible. Buy a copy. And KDOT.
Don't get smited. Share that shit.
Share this shit. Greatly appreciated. After the pod begins right now. I went a bit quick with that one, but that was on me. That was on me. Apologies. But the thing about Jayden looking back, so he gets hurt. Mm-hmm. I'm in a mild depression because I'm like, oh my God, he got hurt. And so I decide to look over some LSU games. He does that a lot where he gets past somebody and looks back and slows down.
Sorry, I thought you meant get obliterated by somebody tackling him.
Oh, no.
I was like, yeah, he does like doing that.
No. Like he will actually beat somebody. And for whatever reason, it's programmed in. I don't know. VR's got to figure this one out too. Just run. Just run. Like he looks back to like ensure that he's not trying to create a highlight out of it. He's just ensuring the guy doesn't touch him. He just needs to learn to just run through. And if the guy shoelace tackles him, so be it. But like he's got the speed to just take off. And there were multiple instances. One against Florida, the famous Florida game. One against Ole Miss. One against, who was it? Not Army. Another one. There was another one that I saw also where he's got the guy beat stride for stride and he looks back and tries to stiff arm him or something. Like that's an improvement he needs to make.
Oh, no doubt. But I mean, look, man, what was my number one concern about Jayden Daniels?
I mean, the injury stuff. He's thin.
Yeah, I mean, I never
doesn't interview well. I don't know. I couldn't figure out.
No. Doesn't interview as well as JJ.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't think Drake May is a particularly good interview. I just think he's one of those dudes like, I want to hang out with you. That's it. Look, it's not that it's not his running. It's not that I'm necessarily, he does not do self-preservation well.
Yeah.
Like, there's just, and you want an angle of that, right? When it comes to football, there's got to be a little bit of reckless abandon when it comes out of it, because sometimes that's where you get the best plays. The thing is that you have dudes like Lamar Jackson who are just, he's so confident in his skill set, moving around and getting shit done. You think Lamar's ever looking back?
No. Well, actually,
what?
The Chiefs game he did. That was a moment, and then he loses a lot of weight in the offseason. this coming season.
Right.
He actually, the one
That's
time
fair.
he does,
You're right. One
he
time he
changes
does. You're
everything.
right. I'm thinking about it play. But like this year, you see Lamar just doing what he needs to do, and it looks effortless because he knows, yeah, I'm faster than you. Yeah, I got better lateral movement than you. Like, yeah, I know what I can do. I'm hoping that Jayden just gets to that point. I don't want – that's the one area in which I don't want a lot of learned lessons on the field. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, just listen to someone telling you. Like, I know some people – different kind of learners, right? You got kinesthetic learners, right? You got learners that like audio, visual. Like, this got to be one of those things, bro. You gotta stop. Like, there's got to be more self-preservation. And that's where I get into the territory of the coaching and stuff, where it's like when I hear Cliff Kingsbury being like, yeah, I don't understand, or I don't know what that balance is going to be because we want him to be himself out there, but we don't want to put the handcuffs and everything on him. I'm like, right. I get that. And nobody's telling you that you need to stop. Look, the run that you had, the big run that he had, that looked like a scramble. Like he took off. And there's going to be those moments where he's just going to see a play and he needs to be able to do that shit. And he needs to have the ability to, when he does see something, to be able to take it. It's the little things about it. It's if you have an opportunity to go out of bounds compared to cutting inside, you need to make that choice.
Yeah.
You got positive yards out of it. Take the choice, right? It's when you see certain quarterbacks or running backs, whatever, that like do all the dancing in the backfield and like, they got tackled for a 12-yard loss, trying to make something happen out of fucking nothing. They made it worse. Or you get to do the intentional grounding or the fumble when you clearly should have just thrown the fucking ball away.
Well,
those are the things. Those are the things that you learn to do over the course of your career. If you got enough opportunity to not make those stupid mistakes early on in your career, that you can have a career, and you work on that. It's just the little things. I'm not asking Jayden to like never fucking scramble. I'm not asking Jayden to be like, you have to, but there are certain elements that you could just do to protect yourself just a little bit better. I think I told the Jerome Bettis story where Jerome Bettis had to learn early on in his career. He didn't know. And it wasn't until he talked to some of the elders and was like, there's a way to fall. He's like, what?
Okay, I'm the other way around, baby. I'm the other way around. Take care of yourself. Take off. I mean, you already got the daylight. Why are you looking back at anybody? Look at the big screen. You'll know if somebody's on you.
I think he gets caught. I do think he gets caught.
I don't think he gets caught.
But that would be a fun
poll. That would actually be a fun poll. Maybe we throw that on. We have the run and we go, does he get caught if he doesn't look back?
If that's the only component to it, is him not looking back. Do I think he has a touchdown on the play if he looks better as far as what lane to hit? Yes. Do I think that but do I think absolutely if he just continues looking forward, doesn't look back at all, can he do? I don't know. I think it's tough. And the other thing when it comes to like those guys, some of those worst tackles are the ones that they grab you from behind. I know that sounds but
no, but 100 point take it. It's true.
But like that hip drop, I know they outlawed the hip drop, but like that's some other and that's probably maybe looking back is a little bit of self-preservation in the sense of like, motherfucker, you ain't gonna do that.
It's worse. Maybe it's worse. Yeah, actually, I mean, you saw the tackle that Godwin had. But now his season's done.
And the other part about it is that the way he went down and the way the defender rolled him, I've never seen that before. I've never actually seen the motions of that completely before ever. So I'm not even that. It was random fucking thing. Like it does feel really, really random. And I think I kept saying that in the post game was like, hey, I'm not blaming you. Like I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying that like if I'm stacking the deck up where I need you to be available to play as often as humanly possible, because that puts us in the best situation to win. I just want you to do certain things over the course of the game, over the course of your career, over the course of the season, over the course of your career, that'll stack the deck just a little bit in your favor. Just a little bit in your favor.
No, that's true. That's true. One of my favorite things about Sunday, obviously the injury sucked, but one of the cool features, if you will, or byproduct's a better term, of it was that the entire fan base was united in knowing the moment he got up from that run, something was off. The broadcast did not pick it up at all. They even had an entire commercial break to figure out when it happened. They got it wrong again, but every single Commanders fan knew after he made that run, you could feel it. I could feel it. Everybody in the stadium, like we were like, something happened. something. We're just in tune right now with this team, right?
Mhm.
And just so dialed in. That was a fun byproduct of like, we just know. We're like, oh, our baby, like, please get up, like, please take care of yourself. CBS like, what a run! He's electrifying, and then the second run he makes looks like he just had Thanksgiving dinner and just folded over. He does like one little left, one little right, and just lays down. And you're like, oh man.
I also thought about this while it was happening because look, that game, everybody had just spent the entire previous week looking at Darrell Green highlights. And everybody remembers when he gets the interception.
I love this take. Go ahead.
And he's holding his ribs during that run back. I literally think if it wasn't for the Darrell Green thing and Elvis being so used to it and him immediately holding, like, it's just, there is some PTSD or trauma where it's like, we have triggers. Like
we have a lot of triggers.
We got a lot of triggers. It's like, it's the same way that like the lack of breathing I do when someone's not getting out of the pile soon enough.
Sure.
Like, on our team, we're just like, get the fuck up.
Yep.
Get up. Like,
yep.
There were certain guys that used to do, like Jim Brown was always famous for this. He did it in the other direction to fuck with the defense. He always got up slowly. He always got up mad slow. He was never running back to the huddle. So every time, because the defense would be like, we fucking got him. We hurt him. And he just slowly dust himself off.
Talk about gamesmanship.
Just to fuck with him. Because the next play coming fucking harder than ever before. It's just like, God damn you, asshole.
You know how good you have to be able to do that? To be able to go, because that's actually a thing. You don't have time to think about that unless you're that good and go, oh, what would I like to do now? Just to mess with the defense.
He did it his whole career.
Unbelievable.
Ever since fucking college. He was doing it the entire time. He was just like, I realized I could take the soul of a defense if I did this. There was also like, he also did the bit with his arm. You can't do this in the league now. This motherfucker used to tape his arm up.
Oh, right.
Basically a club.
Yeah, he clubbed it.
As he's running. You're talking a man's man. Fuck you. Like, you just, look, Derrick Henry playing in that era. Like, it's like if you could just unleash hell on the fucking defense, that's what he was trying to do. But like for us, no, there's so many injuries, there's so many things that went bad for us, and there's so much randomness with it. I think we're always just on a bit of more heightened alert than most others. Because I mean, some of the biggest, this honestly got like some of the biggest highlights in our franchise's history are literally injuries.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, fuck. Can't wait for us to turn the page on that. And thankfully, this one looks short-term, knock on wood. So even if he doesn't play, and as of right now, he's trending towards not playing. Just needs to be clear. It depends on the practice today. But seems to be that
the Just Santo comment got to me a little bit with that. I didn't think of and I know you mentioned a little bit earlier, but I guess he just summed it up perfectly, which was that I understand the gamemanship aspect of it, but there's the other way, which is that you leave it a little up in the air and you don't feel as though he's missing out because he's getting the VR reps. So
that's what exactly. So he might end up being okay, because what is an in-season practice ultimately doing, especially if you are getting those reps? You've already played 6 games.
I just think that knowing this team, they're not going to let him sit out of practice if he could play in the fucking practice. And then,
just to be clear, if he misses all 3 practices, I'm not going to make the VR point. It's done.
Right.
Yeah.
But I still think
if he's limited,
practice,
I don't think he plays. I think it's got to be like full, like DNP full. If he's full, I think we're good.
I'm just curious what the threshold is, because I once again, I don't think there's any way he plays. I don't think, but there is no way he's 100% before Sunday. He might be 90, but he's not 100.
That's where it gets into the very interesting element of, do you play him if he's 90? So let's answer that real quick. And then, because we're past the hard stuff, but I also wanted to ask you what movie I should watch, but movie second, that question first. If he's 90%, K-Dot, you're Dan Quinn. Are you playing him? Yes or no?
No.
No, has to be 100.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm inclined to at 90. Yeesh. You know, sometimes I ask some very good questions, K-Dot. So I think 90. Oh God, 90. If he's adamant at 90, I let him play. And I sort of learned from it. If he's putting himself in harm's way and stuff like that, I'll be like, yo, never again. Like, that's just what it's going to be. Like, I have to figure out how he handles stuff like that. So I guess I do, but I'd be nervous. But you got to trust him.
The motherfucker wanted to keep playing in that game.
I love him.
Like, I love that.
I love him. But like, it is your job because Shanahan didn't. Right. Yeah. Shanahan didn't.
Worst punishment Jayden Daniels could ever get. You can't play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When he threw his helmet, it looked much more like a tantrum versus actual pain. Because he had his helmet. He was like, I'm going. They're like, no, you're not. And he was just like, oh, my God. Like,
let's go to the locker room. Just fucking clear me so I can get back here in the game.
Exactly. No. So I love how badly he wants to be out there, which is why. Anyway, final question before we go. And K-Dot, you can recommend this to everybody. I'm in need of a movie. I'm not watching any shows right now. I've been reading some books, which has been great, but love a movie. So got a movie rec for me.
Yeah, actually, I'm on because it's leading up to Halloween. I've been doing at least 1 to 2 horror movies like a day. Also, I'm very, very, very poor right now, so I can't really leave the house. So on HBO Max or Max, if you haven't seen it, horror movie that came out a few years ago called Malignant. Directed by James Wan of the Conjuring franchise. The marketing for this movie was nuts because of what it sold you it was going to be. And I was kind of putting it off because of that. It is not at all what it is you think it is. And I will tell you that if you watch the first third of the movie and you're just kind of like, there's just another one of that, I promise you to keep going. It will be worth it.
All right. Well, Malignant. I'm not a big horror movie fan, but I'll give it a go.
Not scary.
It is. Okay. Well, then I'll watch it. All right. So thank you guys for listening. We will see you on the other side of this game against the Chicago Bears. So until then, take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.